That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know, that I'm ready to nail down a date
No?
for when we do that. I don't know that I'm ready to nail down a meeting.
Okay,
Why
we can
not?
talk about it. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to our Monday, August 2nd, 2021 meeting of the Whitley County Board of Commissioners. We'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on our agenda, we have the employee recognition. This is the awards that we have for years of service within Whitley County. The first one that we have is Marcy Archibald. Is Marcy here? Marcy's got 25 years of service with, it would be Community Corrections. Craig Wagner, 30 years. Craig, we want to thank Craig too. Virgil Falk, 30 years again. These people aren't that old. Jenny Falk, 29 years. Julie Jensen Kelly. Again, 27 years. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to take. Dan Weagold, 21 years. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Then Colleen Hoffman. Is Colleen here? Nope. Well, we appreciate all the service from that we've gotten from these employees. They're great employees and we're just real fortunate to have them. Thanks, Dan. Okay. Next on the agenda is Attorney Matt Shipman.
Yeah, I just have a couple things to kind of bring to your attention. One of which is we have to redo the interlocal agreement with Solid Waste District. So probably at our next board meeting, I'll have that I'll get that to you shortly for your review, to the extent you guys haven't seen it from the solid waste discussions. And then that needs to be approved by Solid Waste Board, as well as the auditor and treasurer, I believe, because of the collection parts of it. So the only other thing is August 12th, I believe, is the closing on the Soterra bonds. It's a redevelopment project, but requires, and Ice Miller's working on that, it's going to require a signature. So when I get that, I think it's set up for just your signature,
Okay.
as well as council signature. So I'll either bring that to council or I don't have the actual.
What is
documents.
that regarding then?
It's Itron, it's fine, they're finally
Okay.
signing the bond. after
Okay.
all this time.
Okay.
Thanks, Dale. I've been just kind of copied on the emails and they've been trying to set the closing, and I just saw and going through emails while I was on vacation that it was going to be August 12th. So probably this week we'll get documents that kind of start circulating for the signing.
And they've been bought out
Well,
again.
yeah, their name is Sterigenics, the parent company was sold.
Soterra, I think.
Soterra.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, it's crystal clear.
Okay. You have anything further?
I don't have anything else unless you guys have questions for me.
I have none.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Scott Wagner regarding the WIC budget.
Dr. Burke and I are here today to let you know that we'll be working on a summary of concerns for WIC when it comes to their budget. Seems like nowadays is the day for the state to cover by bad news. But it does seem like they've cut their budget significantly because of COVID. Obviously, everybody's numbers are down from COVID because they were in the office for over a year. They are back with full-time working since July 1st, but they are cutting budgets. So when we hired Sarah 2 years ago, she's full-time. We would have to supplement that to get her to even full-time now. They're not even giving her full-time hours. So we would like to come back if you're willing to see that at the end of the year or at the end of this month. Next week, I'm going to be speaking with the commissioner over that division about anything that we can do to sway their mind. We have an excellent program here. We're #1 in the state when it comes to breastfeeding initiation. We're #1 coordinator in the state for that. And they're cutting hours and positions on those things. And if we want to retain our county employees that we have, we would have to do something in addition to that. We've never done that. And the time that I've been here in 25 years, supplemented with budget. But we have to take a look at that. So in the next couple of weeks, think on that. If that's something you want to do, if you think we can do that, I would say, since their budget is October 1st to September 30th, we would supplement their budget for the first 3 months, October through December, with grant money in the health department. And if permissible, then the rest of the year for 2022, grant money and any money that the council would let us put to our budget.
So at this point, we're talking about grant monies though.
Grant monies to finish this year, our calendar year, their start of their year, and then next year, grant monies and possibly a budget revision for the council to look at.
What's that number after, from October to December, from January to finish them out? Do
We
you
don't
know?
know yet, because that's not been finalized. They
Okay,
just submitted the budget Friday. If it stays as submitted, I'd have to come up with 12 hours a week for Sarah just to remain where she is now. So that'd be around 300 to 400 hours a week for the rest of the year. So that a whole lot. But with Daniel's position as well. So I would think for the end of the year, less than $12,000 probably out of grant money. But next year, we're probably looking at around 30 or more. So
obviously that wasn't in your budget for 22 because, okay.
the state has changed their budgetary structure, they said, but they didn't tell anybody about that. So I don't know if this is from USDA down, what it is, because it's the USDA program. But if we want to retain our individuals, we're probably going to have to do something. If we don't, we may lose those individuals. So.
Okay.
Well, I do think WIC is an important program, especially for those in the community that need it and that need that service. So I definitely think that we need to find those funds to
We'll come
retain
back
them
with
to.
more permanent numbers at the end of this month. The next commission. Any questions?
Are you going to report to council tomorrow
Here
then?
tomorrow, council,
Okay.
let them know what we're doing. And once we come to you guys at the end of the month, we'll also go to them there at the beginning of September. I won't be here, so somebody from the office will present that, or maybe even October's meeting, depending on what they want to do.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Next on the agenda, we have Nathan Bilger for plat approval.
Thank you. For the record, Nathan Bilger, County Director. For your consideration this afternoon, I have one plat that was approved by the Plan Commission at their July meeting. It is that doesn't go with it. It is to be called the Schinbeckler subdivision located on County Road 200 West, one lot plat. Didn't have much discussion at the Plan Commission, as I recall. Any questions for me?
I had a chance to look at it during our plan commission meeting, so I will move that we approve the request as presented.
Yeah, we've got a motion,
I'll second.
got a second. Further discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you. While you're signing that, I just will announce for the record that the Plan Commission is holding a special meeting next Monday evening at 6:30 to talk more in detail about the pending comprehensive plan. They really wanted kind of a nuts and bolts, how does it all work sort of session, which we hadn't had with Plan Commission yet. So again, that's Monday the 9th at 6:30.
So that should be more of like a workshop to go over the changes that the public had presented. So the Plan Commission can have that final touch on it since we have not had a whole lot of personal interaction with that.
So is that open to the public or is it?
It
just-
is open to the public. It's not a public hearing, so there won't necessarily be public comment taken. But that'll be kind of dependent. Sometimes workshops, there may be interaction, sometimes not, just depends on what's being discussed.
So it'll basically be a dialogue back and forth of any changes that the members would like to see included in that.
Okay.
So proceeding, progressing.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Becky Salaway for the fourth quarter voucher approval. Council on Aging.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Becky.
I just have the fourth quarter voucher. It's difficult to say that just because this particular year has 6 vouchers. So because of the CARES Act, so we're 2 in last year and there'll be 4 this year. So anyway, it always confuses me, but anyway, so it is the fourth quarter voucher, which ended the end of June. I believe you got the paperwork that I sent regarding that. It's a pretty high number on the return for us. And that is simply because they are paying 100% for the transit program at this particular point in time. So that will of course end at the end of this year and we'll go back to the 50-50 match, which is what we had always done before. So anyway, we'll have that. We have just completed and submitted the 2022 year grant has gone in. They did have some discretionary funds that were available for non-capital equipment. So we were able to get some fans, big fans for the garage and upgrade the security system on the vehicles, a couple of things like that. We were able to get into in addition to the regular grant, and we were awarded 2 vehicles. So we'll be getting 2 this year and 2 next year. So, and that really puts our fleet in a pretty good standing. So,
Good.
so this is, then after this, we'll still have 2 more vouchers on this grant before we begin again on the 2022 grant. So it's been kind of a weird process, as it
Yeah.
has been for everybody else. But anyway, so I just need a signature so that I can submit that.
Okay,
And I've got it here. It's the official copy if you want to. I also have the breakdown of what, if anybody's interested in seeing that, you know, how much what was for wages and how much, if anybody would like to see that. Jana has requested that. Apparently the auditors are wanting that now. So I will leave it with you to give to Jana. So it'll be on file here too, if you decide later you'd like to take a look at it.
Okay.
Again, it's quite a bit different this year than normal, but
do we have a motion?
Yep, I move that we approve the voucher as presented and
With,
allow for the chairman to sign.
Okay, we've got a motion,
Second.
got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
just a further update, we are pretty much back up to the same number of rides that we had prior to COVID. Of course, now we may be losing them again, but we are pretty much back to normal in that regard. And I know that I had reported we were having difficulty hiring people, and with the help of the commissioners, we were able to increase the start pay. And we have hired 3 new drivers since I was here.
Great.
So it was very helpful, very instrumental in getting us back to where we need to be.
Great. Well, we appreciate what you do.
No problem. One more thing I'd like to just add is we are having our annual senior fair, God willing, and the COVID doesn't rise. And it is Friday, October 1st. It is our biggest fundraiser of the year. We solicit sponsors and that sort of thing. But it is free to anyone in attendance. So we'd love to have you stop by and see us and say hello. We usually have a very good turnout to that. It is at the 4-H grounds. So it's in these, and we do have a golf outing coming up just for your information, but anyway. So yeah, if you want to come out and have some of Carrie's good cooking, it's on the house and we'd love to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And who has my form?
Give it back to you.
Give it back to you in my mess of papers. Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Lori Shipman.
Thank you, Becky.
Lori's a grant consultant for us. She does a great job. Yeah, here, if you would, please.
Hot seat. Okay.
Okay, if you would, just kind of explain a little bit of what you do for Whitley County and,
Sure.
and for us. We're talking about the contract.
Yes. So I was brought on last year when we knew there was going to be a lot of influx with CARES Act funding and all sorts of grant dollars that are still in the works of figuring out how they're going to get into local communities. The way that I typically work with my clients is on a monthly retainer. And then as the grant opportunities come in, we talk about whether it's a good idea or what we might have to fit with it and fill out the application. I did kind of go back I think we've been at this maybe 10 months now. And in that 10 months, I applied for $3,172,000 of grant funds. 180,000 of that was declined. I think that was the one that we did through Okra that would have gone for community corrections for mental health counseling. And when I looked at the other people that were awarded, they were like everybody in the community could access it. It wasn't such a defined population. We are waiting on, I believe, $267,000 from Homeland Security for some equipment. I don't know if we've heard on that one or not. And then we have been approved for $2.7 million in funding. Some of that was with Brandon for the LPA ADA compliance project, ICJI for community corrections, and the opportunities are continuing to come in. So usually my agreement with a community is that puts you first on my priority list. I work with a very small select group of communities that I feel like, obviously I have a soft spot in my heart for Whitley County because I live here and I want to see great things happen here. But communities that I feel like are forward thinking and want to get those dollars and get them back in our community. Let's face it, it's our money. And if we don't bring it back here, it's going to go somewhere else. So,
Absolutely.
So that's been my approach with the other clients I've worked with, and that's what we've done here in the past 10 months. Like I said, more stuff will be coming down the pipeline. I know Okra's going to be releasing some stuff. USDA always has opportunities coming up. Who knows how things will end up shaking out with Ready. If Northeast Indiana is awarded, we'll probably need to put forth some applications. I'm sure Dale's really excited about all that. And some of that will have matching fund requirements that you'll need to look to places to potentially try to leverage funds for those.
And Lori, I just want to make sure. So you have, I think Kosciuszko County is also a client of yours and they have about the same exact contract with you that we do, and so do a few other communities.
Yes.
And you said it's roughly around, over $3 million is what you've brought in. I definitely think that what you do is invaluable. I know that grant writing is not easy to do, and it's a learned art. So thank you for doing that, and I appreciate that you live here, so I know that you definitely work really hard for our community. So I don't have a problem with her contract, and I think that we should continue it.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the continuance of the agreement for professional services for Lori Shipman Consulting.
So, just for clarification, does that mean that we'll just continue to go month to month?
Sure,
Or are you
so it's
saying like
it's
renew
like a,
terms of a contract?
no, is it monthly or like annually? Because I know it's like
I
a
think I
retainment fee, and then
extended-
you do so much work every month to look for these grants for us. And then obviously meetings, you don't charge us, like if we need to come in and speak to you for an hour or so.
Exactly. So you're not
Um,
getting billed hourly, you're getting one flat fee. And I think that the updated contract extends through the end of this year. And I submit an invoice every month for that.
So I guess I'll amend my motion to keep her contract till the end of the year, and then
And we
we'll
can-
revisit it and at that time.
I guess I'm just a little bit confused by the reason for needing to change anything. If we're continuing right now and we're paying on a monthly basis, we receive the invoice, we pay it out, then is it needed really to renew anything or to have a motion to continue? I mean, essentially that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're
Okay.
not, and there's no terms on it. So we're very grateful for everything that you've done. Really, we are. And this came up initially because the auditor's office felt that there needed to be a renewal of a contract because in the event of an audit or something, then folks would say, well, what are we paying for? And nothing against you. We never requested detailed billing. We never said in your invoice include like how many grants you're working on and what grants were awarded and those sorts of things that would help the auditor's office if they received an audit. Right now, an audit would there would be a stack of invoices for $1,200 a month and nobody would know what that was for. So that's the only reason that this even initially came up. And I like the way that we're working now where we feel that there's value in Lori's business and we're paying it each month. But if we extend an agreement and later on find that actually there's not a cost benefit or something and we decide that we're going to term, then are we locking ourselves in your language until the end of the year? Is that what we're doing?
I think there's actually a clause in the agreement that you can terminate it with 30 days written notice either direction.
My question is the current agreement still valid? Is it still something that we're working under? I think it is. There were terms on it like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And since that 6 months ended, we just started paying monthly.
Monthly, yeah,
So
we're just going month to month.
is that agreement with the terms still valid? I mean,
So
You're exactly right. It all initiated with Gianna saying, hey, do we need to redo this? And so to make the auditor's office feel more comfortable with it was really the only reason we did it. I don't, to answer your question, no, I don't think we need to,
yeah,
as long as Gianna and Tiffany are comfortable. And if it, in essence, is more of, hey, provide a little more detail in the invoicing and just do that going forward.
instead, every month you would have detail of what this month was as opposed to those invoices being attached to the professional services agreement that outlines a broader scope of work.
at
Yeah, 'cause
this
I think they
point,
just wanted a detailed list rather than just a
She was just
$1,200
worried about
flat.
it being
Yeah.
audited and whether.
at this point, I think that's all we need. I don't think we need to renew terms or extend terms.
Okay,
Okay.
We just need to see something on the invoice, some sort of detailed billing to say this is what we're paying for, so that it doesn't look like we're just giving away $1,200 a month
Sure.
without knowing what that's for.
Sure.
You know, if
I think
State
that's
Board of Accounts came in.
especially important given the fact that obviously Lori's my wife. And so, you know, because I wouldn't want it to
There's
be,
that.
I wouldn't want it to be, you know,
Right.
Look what they're doing in Whitley County, and if there is that detail in there, I think that's probably.
Do you have maybe some other contractors that
Yeah,
you can give me like some samples of,
Mhm.
because I know I get calls every year from State Board of Accounts when clients are going through grant audits. And
Right.
Yep, I will have
I
Janet get you those.
see their phone number light up. Sure, I'm not the only one that feels that way. It's almost like a telemarketer calling. So anyway, I'll make sure that I can give you what you know you're gonna need to satisfy
We will
your
do
audit.
that.
Okay, we still have a motion.
And I declined the motion. I don't think it's not something I'm willing to do.
Okay, motion dies for lack of a second.
So then you just want me to send them invoice every month and?
Right, yeah, and I think the only ask here is just a little bit more detail on the invoices so that State Board of Accounts can't find fault in what we're paying for.
Okay,
And then maybe follow up with Jan or Tiffany and make sure that
yeah.
they're happy, because that's all we're trying to do is make sure they're happy.
There may come a time where I would need to come to you guys to get a signature. Like, for example, when we did some of these quick Okra grants for the COVID relief funds, you were able to bypass doing a procurement process for a grant administrator because you have a relationship, a contractual relationship with one. So if that's a path that we get to, we'll figure that out
Sure.
and take care of it then. But
Yeah.
that would be really on, as far as my end, anything that could potentially be a stumbling block for you guys. So.
And to
Great.
be clear, I hope you didn't feel like you were in the hot seat. We're not,
No.
we're not dissatisfied. You know, this just came up and we thought,
Yeah.
you know, what's the best way to address this? And really, it's just to see some sort of metrics.
Sure.
To see some sort of detailed billing to say, this is what we're working on.
And I think too, it would be helpful to be able to work with you guys in a group setting or one-on-one to talk about, you know, hey,
Yeah,
here's the grants that are coming, or hey, here's some priorities, or here's what we are looking for, so that we can make sure that it's all aligned.
I think that would go a long way.
Yeah.
If you were coming to us and saying, "Look, here's what's coming, you know, this is what we have our eyes on, that would go a really long way.
We can do that.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah,
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Brandon Forrester, our Highway Department Director and County Engineer.
Good afternoon.
Brandon?
So first on my list is last meeting, we opened truck bids. We received 2 bids for chassis and 1 for equipment. The bids were received from Center State in Illinois and Selking in Fort Wayne. And what was read during the meeting, for clarification for anyone that might be listening or watching the recording, what was read was Center State at $116,899. And that was for 1 truck. And what was read for Selking was $234,498.02. And that was for 2 trucks. But Selking offered an early pay discount. So basically, when the trucks are delivered to, in this case, if it's awarded W.A. Jones, then they would get payment at that time. So they offered $1,200 per chassis discount. So if you take that 20 times 2, $2,400 off of their bid would actually be $232,098.02. So $232,098, and Center State's bid times 2 would be $233,798. So Selking would actually be cheaper for 2 trucks with the early pay discount. So with that being the case, not that Center State, they met all the specs, but Selking is a little bit cheaper, which I kind of expected.
What about WL Jones?
W.A. Jones, they were, of course, the only bid for equipment, which would be Under body blade, bed, snowplow, lighting, horns, et cetera. And they were at 211,978 for 2 trucks. So the total would be 443, about 444,000. But I would recommend we accept Selking's at 234,498.02, Bilger Jones at 211,978.
I'll make a motion that we accept those bids.
We've got a motion to approve Cell King for 234,498.02 and W.A. Jones for 211,978,
232,098.
232,098.
02, yeah.
And that was Cell King.
Yes.
Second.
Got a motion, we've got a second. Any further discussions? And then also that's including W.A. Jones for the 211,978. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Last Wednesday, I did submit application for community crossings for the second community crossings call of the year. That was for asphalt overlays on, it was for 100 North in Larwell. We have an interlocal with Larwell. And so that was one road. 200 South between State Road 9 and State Road 205, the school complex road. 800 East, which I've been working with Allen County. And then 900 East, which from Turbusco to the North County line. And Mosier Road, which is a little subdivision on 200 South across from where Columbia Township School used to be. Just threw that in there. It's just a short little subdivision that has deteriorated and been neglected. So that, based on estimates, the request was for 270,000. We had 278,000 available to request. So we're about 8,000 short of $1 million, if we get it. Last week we started chip seal, and we will be chip sealing about 62 center line miles if you count the double sealing twice. There's about 5 miles that we will double seal, so I counted that twice as 10 miles. So there's 57 total, with 5 of it being double sealed. We started that last Tuesday. After today, we should have about 17.5 miles done. That includes the double seal, so making good progress, even though we had a breakdown on the distributor last week. A gasket blew, so we got great guys that took care of that. I have received a fee proposal from Engineering Resources for bridge inspection, and I'm in the process of going through that. Technically, we're in the negotiation phase for that, so I've got some questions for them that I will get with them and report back to you. Also at the last meeting, not publicly opened, but that day we received proposals for the federal aid ADA project, and George and Teresa and Cammie agreed to be scorers for those proposals. And tentatively, I think we're going to meet on Wednesday to start that process. I'll go through things with y'all as the team leader and the ERC employee in responsible charge. And then we'll open those proposals because they have not been opened at this point.
Okay,
Other than that, that's all I have to report.
thank you, Brandon. Anything for Brandon?
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have some facility requests. There's 3 different ones. First one we have is for the Right to Life. They would like to have the courthouse gazebo and nearby lawn for January 22nd, 2022, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
I move that we approve it.
Got a motion to approve. We got a second. Discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. The next one we have is for the Indiana Army National Guard. It's a welcome back to school event for August 14th, 2021, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
I'll move that we accept the request as presented.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a second. Discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. The next one we have is from Bowen and the DCS. The CPT organization is CPT, and I'm not sure exactly what CPT is. They're holding a suicide awareness event for the community, and our hopes are to bring awareness and help provide more resources to those in need. And that's requesting to use a courthouse lawn and square on September 24th, 2021, which is September is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month.
The only problem that I have with this is they don't know what time. So I think with it being in September, I would make a motion, we table this until they know what time they're
Okay.
going to have their event.
Got a motion to table?
I'll second.
Got a second? Discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Next, we have payroll and accounts payable claims approval.
I had time this morning to review payroll claims and claims and didn't see any issues. I would move that we approve them.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve claims.
Second.
Got a second? Discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. And also payroll claims.
Yeah, so my motion was to approve both, but I'll make a separate motion
Okay.
to approve payroll.
Motion to approve payroll claim.
Second.
Got a second? Discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Sorry, Chad.
That's okay.
Did I sign on your line on?
And
I
so
may have.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the previous meeting minutes approval. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the meetings?
yeah, I move that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the July 19th, 2021 meeting minutes. We got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, Matt, did you have anything further?
I did not know.
Tiffany? Commissioner?
The only thing that I would add is, I had a chance to visit our jail last week. Met with Sean Martin, who's our jail commander, and we just kind of talked about the current situation in our jail. Obviously, a head count is high. It's very overcrowded in our jail right now, with no end in sight. And we talked about a little bit about, as a refresher for everyone, the state several years ago, I don't know how many, maybe 5 or even 10, changed the classifications of felonies, and in that they essentially said that they'll deny level 6 felons. And 67 of the jail population today in Whitley County Jail, 67 are level 6 felons who have been sentenced or not yet sentenced. And as our jail looks outside of the county for places to house these inmates, they're coming up with nothing. There's nowhere really available to house them. And so just as a reminder, I think that the jail project needs to continue. I mean, we need, and it might appear to some that it's been stalled, and I would argue that it wasn't stalled, but a big part of that was the purchase of the property, and that really is recent news. When we closed on the property, there's a lot of discussion happening. We've seen jails designed by Elevatus that we really like. We've seen jails from RQAW that we really like, and there's just a lot happening behind the scenes in conversations. But I would challenge us to start nailing down some meetings and nailing down a date where we could select an architecture firm and start looking at maybe an owner's rep so that we can keep this moving forward. And of course, also my cell phone number, I believe, Tammy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my cell phone number is on the county webpage, and I'm willing to speak with anyone who wants to talk about the jail. I think that the problem is real. We can't ignore it. And so if constituents want to talk more about that, I'm available.
Okay. Thank you. Anything further?
No.
Commissioner?
Just to piggyback off of what Commissioner Banks said, the jail project is necessary. We've been dealing with this for, I think, years at this point. We've done our homework on the type of facility that we want. We've done our homework on the different firms that can design our facility. So I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but I think that we should definitely, like you said, decide sooner rather than later. The cost of construction is going up every single month. If this would have been done 5 years ago, I mean, the cost would have been probably 2/3 of what it is now. I think it's time that we get this project moving. So yeah, definitely nail down some meetings.
I think that we've learned a lot in this time, but it was 2016 when we got the letter from the state. So it's been a while.
Yeah. So.
And we're not like unique
No,
in the fact that other counties are faced with the same problem, and they've either built a new jail recently, or they're getting ready to build a new jail, or something is happening in nearly 92 counties across the state because of this issue that everyone has with the overcrowding. If
right.
the state Department of Corrections would take back the level 6 felons, then we would still have plenty of space in our jail, but they won't. And a misconception that I hear often is that we have inmates from other counties in our jail, and that's simply not true. Folks believe that to be true, and I don't understand why they still believe that. But maybe at one time we did. But these are our inmates, our problem, and we need more space to house them.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's, it could definitely be safer for our deputies and the confinement officers. And that's a huge priority for me. It's to make sure that they're safe and taken care of.
Right.
I think, didn't we hear at some point through the process that we're in the bottom 5 oldest jails in the state or something?
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought it was bottom 3.
yeah,
We're the third
I
oldest.
didn't want to overextend, but I knew it was way at the bottom. So, I mean, that says a lot. I mean, if we've been able to hold off for this long, but it's a big pill nobody wants to swallow, but unfortunately, we've been able to get more out of our jail than most communities have, and that's a good thing because it's saved us money, but eventually you always have to build the next thing, so.
The good thing is we've been proactive about the jail tax and the safety tax. And so that'll, we shouldn't have to raise taxes. And that's the good thing.
And then unless you had something else you wanted to add on the jail, there was one more thing I just wanted to touch on.
Sure, go ahead.
So as far as the ARP funds, obviously there's a very specific projects the money can be used on. And I think I presented it council last month, and obviously I talked about it at our last commissioners meeting. I've been working with, or we've been working with, I guess I've been leading the way with a company on getting fiber to our county residents. And the ARP funds, they can be used for broadband. So for me as a commissioner, that's what I'm going to be. I want the public to know and everyone to know that's what I'm going to be fighting for those funds to be used for. It is important. It's becoming more important as we do more e-learning, as we have more people working from home, as we have more businesses that want to move in here and we don't have good internet to offer them. We need to make sure that our community is ready and that we don't look back 20 years from now and go, oh, whoops, we really made a mistake. And then, I mean, again, with that infrastructure is also getting more and more expensive every single year. We are engaging the same company that we worked with about 5 years ago. And the price has increased by 25%. So if it would have been done then, we would be in a better position. Of course, it was a little bit different because we were working with the city then. So it's not apples to apples, but it's definitely something that we need to look at. So for me, as it's speaking for myself, not the Board of Commissioners, just for me, that's what I'm going to be fighting for. So if any of the public has anything that they want to say that they like to see those funds spent on, that the funds can be spent on, we're always willing to listen, and we want to be as transparent as possible. So.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the public?
I just wanted to comment on Teresa's comments there.
Can you come up and say your name and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, Sonia. I just wanted to piggyback on your comments about the internet stuff. I agree that it's important, and but I don't know, expense-wise and the details, if that technology that you're wanting to put in right now is going to be effective in 20 years, even 5 years or 10 years, because so much of it's going to satellite and to other ways of doing it. And so I just want to be sure that we're not dumping all this money that we're getting into old technology.
Sure. So it's fiber. So it is the best that you can provide. So
Have you looked into satellite?
we have, but I would prefer fiber. It's proven. It's what everybody's
We've had fiber
after.
for years,
So.
so I understand that.
And you guys, your company paid to get it. Right, yeah. So I'm sure it cost a fortune for you guys, so.
You actually have it coming from two directions,
Mhm.
because it's not always just perfect, and that's why we get it from two directions. So, yeah, but not talking about the company, just talking about the technology, if it's worth dumping it all into broadband, when there's, these microburst towers that are going up in different places, and satellite. So just other options to maybe consider as you're looking into it.
Sure, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Call for the motion.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, Katie. How are you? Good. How are you? That's awesome.
You?